These horsemen ride with the fist down inside, with heads like thunder, the rock of your pride. We'll have no mercy for big, far and wide.
What is happening, Whiskey Chaser fam? Welcome back to another video, or welcome to a video if you have not been here before. My name is Chase, and this is the Whiskey Chaser channel. I am cruising right next to Central Park right now, down 5th Avenue in Manhattan. I'm just out for a nice leisurely cruise. The weather right now looks absolutely atrocious, but it's not supposed to rain, which is great because I got rained on last night and it was not very fun. But you know, it is what it is. That's how it goes sometimes. But yeah, if you are new here, my name is Chase. This is Whiskey Chase channel. We do motorcycle related contents in New York City and all over. And I would like to say that you are really cool and you look great and I like your butt and you should subscribe to the channel. We are out today, this week, to talk about this bike, which is my 2014 Yamaha Bolt. Yamaha Bolt. I had no idea this bike even existed until late last year, around Christmas time, when I rode my buddy Chris's Yamaha Bolt, his 2015 Yamaha Bolt R-Spec, for the first time, and I thought, you know what, that's a pretty freaking cool bike, and not a lot of people have it, and it's not super popular, but the people who do know it really like it, and there's not really a lot of build series or riding on this bike or anything like that on YouTube, so I decided that I was going to be one of the guys who jumped on it and rode this thing, and, you know, basically did content and answered questions and worked on it, and because I thought it'd be a really cool build once it's all said and done. This is a 10,000 mile review of this motorcycle. Granted, I am at currently 17,093 miles, and I bought this bike on March 13th of 2021 this year. And I rode it to Texas, and I rode it to Tampa, and I rode it to Rhode Island, and I've been all over the city of New York. It is a great bike. Now, I got it with 7,495 miles on the odometer, which is what the title says whenever it was signed over to me. So it could have been plus or minus a few miles, but that's what it says on the title. So I am jumping the gun a little bit here on this. It is about 400 miles. It's 402 miles actually, short of that 10,000 miles, but we can kind of fudge those numbers up a little bit. So as I said, I bought this bike March 13th, 2021 with 7,495 miles on it. I literally, you know, I drove up to Rome to speak to the owner, Anthony, who is super cool, and he was really nice, and he sent me lots of pictures and everything like that about the bike before, lots of details about it. That day, basically, like, I looked at it, started it, and said, okay, and then we put it on the back of the truck, and I gave him the cash and rode it home. And then the first time I rode it was just outside of the city, coming into the city. So some of the modifications that I've done to this, or let me rephrase that. Some of the modifications that have been done to this. We have the Stage 1 kit, which is going to be the D&D Custom Ram air intake, the D&D Big Barker slip-on exhaust, the Dyno Jet Power Commander, and it was dyno tuned by D&D Racing, which is up in around the Utica area. So D&D Racing specializes mostly in like jet skis, Yamaha jet skis, and I believe that they were trying to break into the motorcycle market by taking this bike, doing the Stage 1 kit on it, and then they were going to sell the exhaust, and they were going to sell the intake and everything on their website. I do believe they still have it available for sale, but it's really hard to find. I just am so confused by their website. It's very strange, but they do still exist, and I have found it on their website. So it is possible that you can get this if you want to. So that was done before I even ever got the motorcycle. That was done before Anthony even ever got the motorcycle, and I don't know what the power, like the numbers are, because I know this bike comes stock, I think with 55-ish horsepower. Blockhead did a similar setup for his Yamaha Bolt giveaway. They also did an intake, an exhaust, maybe an intake? Maybe they didn't do an intake, but they did an exhaust and did a power jet and a dyno tune, and I believe it added about 10 horsepower. I also have the 31 tooth pulley from a Yamaha Stryker, which is the 1300 cruiser motorcycle that Yamaha makes. It is a direct swap. You don't have to do anything else except just swap the pulley out, and that lowers the RPMs about 350-ish or so when you're going through the gears, so that it gives you a little bit more high-end power, and it takes away some of that low-end torquiness. It doesn't really do a whole lot, but it is a nice thing to have whenever you're looking at doing like more long-distance trips, just because it does give you a little bit better gas mileage. It does help lower the RPMs just a little bit. I have these various bags that I've put on here. The throwover bags that I don't normally keep them on there. I just have them temporarily on for the winter, because I can put a sweatshirt or something in there and take it with me to work, or I can, just kind of leave some stuff in there that I need for when it's a little bit colder. I do actually have this Willie & Max small swing arm bag on it that is plenty big enough for during the summertime when I want to, take a drink to work, or if I need to bring my camera or anything like that around. Very, very nice, easy bag. I don't know if those are considered mods, but I just wanted to include them anyway, just because, you never know what people are looking for, and they're something that I bought to put on the motorcycle, so I may as well just go ahead and add that to the list. I also have these 1-inch TC Bros, or 12-inch rise, 1-inch thick handlebars that I recently added before my trip to Florida. And I also had to extend the throttle cables, I had to extend the clutch cable, and I had to extend the brake line. So these cables I got are Yamaha 950 V-Star touring cables. They added about 6 inches to the cables. They're exactly the same, except they're just 6 inches longer, which is really nice. Let's get out of this traffic. What do you say to that? The brake line that I got was just a regular Amazon universal brake line, and it is stainless steel. So when I did add it, the brakes got way better. I had also changed the brake pads at the same time as well. So new brake pads and stainless steel brake line made these brakes super, super hard, and it works really, really well. Just recently, in my past video, I added this Memphis Shades El Paso windshield, which I did get to use in the rain last night, and it actually did work pretty darn well. I am happy about that. I have a forward control kit from this guy, Vinny Terranova, who he gets them from the Netherlands. I think he sends them from the Netherlands, and they move the controls forward about 5.5 or 6 inches or so, because this bike comes factory with mid controls. You can actually get this same kit here in the US through Motorcycle Dress Up, who is in LA, and the guy who runs that is awesome. I have gotten a lot of help from him before in the past about this kit, and he really helped me out. Very responsive on Facebook, so go check Motorcycle Dress Up out, because there's lots of stuff there for all kinds of bikes, not just Yamaha Bolts. But if you are looking for Yamaha Bolt stuff, there is plenty of parts on there. including this forward control kit. Now, the forward control kit itself is okay. It still feels very tight. It still feels like the pegs are right underneath me. If anything, these would be more like the mids, and the mids that it came with are more like rear controls, which I'm super not a fan of. I really did not like the way that those were positioned, especially with the stock handlebars. It was just a very shitty setup, and I just didn't like it. So this is a whole new world. This is the way the bike, in my opinion, should have come, set up kind of like a Iron 1200. Now, they're not forward, but they should have been in this position originally, for sure. I added a couple of small little things that are universal. The sissy bar, which is just an eBay special sissy bar. It actually mimics the Yamaha stock one, but it's just whatever. It's not really that big of a deal. And then the USB charger that I got off of Amazon, which is it works pretty well. It was about 25 bucks, and it has 2 USB ports, and I use them for, you know, various things as I'm riding, especially these long distance trips. Having your phone plugged in is pretty essential, and having to worry about battery packs and everything like that, it kind of sucks. So those are all the modifications and everything that I have done to this motorcycle so far. There's still plenty to go. For instance, I need to get a new seat. The stock seat is great, but I want to be able to have a passenger seat on it. I want to get a full 2-up seat set up like a Saddleman, just because, number one, the comfort, and number two, the look, the custom look, which I really, really like. That will be the next, I believe, modification, as well as the passenger pegs that I will be putting on. I have a fender, a shorty fender for this bike that I need to put on. It's from S&S Customs, but it comes unfinished, so it's fiberglass, and it's just an unfinished piece of fiberglass. There's not even any holes on it, so I need to drill the holes, paint it, and install it. That will be a whole thing in itself, because I don't really know how to do that, and it'll be fun to learn, I guess. And then this gauge right here, this whole gauge setup is just absolutely atrociously terrible, and I will be probably doing the Costco gauge. It's K-O-S-O, I think, Coso, something, I'm not sure, but it is a full RPM gauge, and then a quarter of the gauge down at the bottom has the digital tachometer, speedometer, everything like that. I also have some rear turn signals for this bike that I will be installing soon. They're LED, and they're a lot smaller, low profile. The reason why I want to do that is because the way that these bags are set up on here right now, they run right into the back of the turn signal, and they are kind of squished. So if I ever decide I want to get hard bags for this, which I have a setup in mind that was shown to me while I was in Tampa. It's removable locking hard bags, which I'm considering, but if I tried to do that right now, there's no way I'd be able to do it with the current turn signals. Plus, the current turn signals anyway are kind of dumb. I would like to, you know, just change those out. So I have those. They're sitting on my coffee table, and I will hopefully be installing those soon. However, I have no idea when that is going to be. So before we go on any more big trips, the big mods that I'm going to have to get are the seat. I want to try to find a highway bar of some sort so that I could stretch my legs out. And then I have a horn that I need to install, because currently, as you can see, this horn does not work. Those just need to be wired up and installed. I have a high-low horn set up, so it's 2 horns, 1 high, 1 low, and it'll sound more like a car, which is great because it'll be much louder for these jerks out here who don't see me coming. And then I think at that point, this thing might be done. It might be complete. Who knows? Probably not. But for what I can do on the street with a small scissor jack and just a handful of tools. I think it'll be just about finished after that. And if we ever want to do something bigger and badder, it's going to have to be in a garage, a little bit more in depth. Maybe do a high compression setup, get a little bit more horsepower out of this baby. So the things I don't like about the Yamaha Bolt: it is only a 5-speed, which at this point in 2021, almost 2022, the new 2022 Yamaha Bolt is exactly the same bike as this. It just doesn't have the same color scheme. It's a different color. And I think it's time for the upgrade to come through, Yamaha. So Yamaha Motorsports, if you're watching, let's get a 6-speed in this Bolt, man. Let's do it. Because I guarantee you that if you make a 6-speed for this Bolt, there's going to be guys out there like me who are buying 6-speed transmissions from you to put in their Bolt. The fact that this is sub 1000 cc's, it is only 950, well, it's really like 943 or something like that, is fine, especially here, because this thing pulls like a 1200 Sportster. It really does. But it just needs to be an 11 or a 13 or something. Like, it just needs more. As I mentioned before, the mid controls and the stock bars on this bike were absolutely trash. I hated them. And I am so glad that I have a better setup now, especially with these 12-inch bars. This was a game changer. This is the way that this bike should have come. And man, if you get one of these bikes, that's one of the big things that you should do, is change out these handlebars. As I said, this gauge is just absolutely crap, so that needs to be fixed. The suspension is okay, but it needs to be changed as well. If you're gonna run this thing on the street, you need better suspension. All right, well, mostly all those things can be changed, so I'm not really too worried about it. The only thing that really can't is the CCs and the transmission right now, possibly in the future. But there are plenty of good things about this bike as well. It's fast. Like, this thing is quick. It rips. The low-end torque on this thing is incredible. It'll pop up a wheelie no problem, and it gets up to triple digits. No issue. I was ripping through the mountains of Maryland, the Appalachians, and getting down almost to scraping pegs at 90 miles an hour. It's reliable as hell. I have only really had to change the oil on this thing. There has been no other issues. The open air intake, if I'm getting caught in the rain, that's a problem, because there is some water that'll get into the engine, and everybody knows that that's not very good, but it hasn't had any problems. It just kind of like rolls it through, spits it out, and then the next day it's back to the way it should be. It runs just fine. I also, don't really like sit there and run it. I go very gently. I try to cover the intake, and then I get off of it as soon as I possibly can. It's fuel injected, which I absolutely freaking love. Like, the carburetor on the Sportster is not really like a huge pain, but it's a pretty big pain, man. Like, just having the fuel injection is so much easier. Like, you just get on, turn the key, push the button, and it starts. And I absolutely love that. This thing is super easy to work on. There's only like 2 sizes of Allen heads and about 4 sizes of metric wrenches, and I think you can pretty much take the entire bike apart with the toolkit that this thing comes with. Like, when I replaced these handlebars, I think I used maybe 3 tools. And that was it. It's got a great style. It's that bobber look. Mine is all blacked out, but they don't all come black. They come in a bunch of different colors. But this one, it's got the mag wheels, which is great. This is 2015. The base model started coming with the spoke wheels, and only the R-Spec came with the mag wheels. And I really like the mag wheels, so I'm happy that this one has it. It's got that really nice big front headlight, and then just the one small tail light in the rear, which is neat. It's very bobbery. If you do the license plate delete, the rear fender, it looks chopped already, which I love. It's just a very cool looking motorcycle. And I mean, it's fun. It's low. It's got a good low slung weight, so it's really easy to whip around and get through corners and curves and twisties, and it's got really good pep. So when you are in those turns, you're really able to dig down and get into them, and it's just a fun bike. Well, that was long-winded. Well, we went all the way around Central Park, coming right back to almost exactly where I turned onto 5th Avenue. Tell me what you think of the Yamaha Bolt. It has been 10,000 miles almost, and we ain't stopping anytime soon because we got plenty of miles left. I'm gonna hit 20,000 miles on this motorcycle next year if something doesn't happen. We have lots planned, lots to do. Already got the calendar pretty full, and talking to people and organizing and everything like that. So if you want to see more activities in the future, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you're returning, I love you. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. Tell me what else you think we should do to the Yamaha Bolt, and what kind of trips are you going to plan this year, because I might be going to some of them. If you'd like to support this channel, there are links down below. There are affiliate links, there are donation links, there are links for stickers, there is a link for my Patreon. If you want to help support, those are the best ways to do it. And let's get this shit done, man. But thank you everybody so much for watching. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. See you later.